In this video, we are taking Khulzhar's Doom Court, a Khorne Daemon Army from the CODEX Chaos Daemons, and seeing how much it would cost in real world money. Spoiler, it's a ton of money. Hello and welcome to Winter Disco Tabletop Gaming, where we look at all things Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, and Dungeons & Dragons. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe for some more juicy videos just like this one. If not, welcome back. Carrying on from our look at the money values of the combat patrol armies, we're going to jump into Codex Chaos Daemons and see how much the 4 armies for each of the Chaos Gods would be worth in real world money figures. In this first video, I'm going to cost out Khulzhar's Doom Court, a Khorne Daemon army that ravaged the fortress world of Alexandrum during the Blood Crusade. I'm going to go through each of the models and units for the army as listed in Codex Chaos Daemons, break down each of the different cohorts, and ultimately come to a final monetary value. If you want to play along, you can. Grab a copy of the 8th edition Codex Chaos Daemons and head right over to page 13. There are a few rules I'm going to adhere for this video, and of course I'm likely going to break them all. The first rule is I'm going to stick to Games Workshop and Forge World ranges only. I'll try to stick primarily to Games Workshop models as they're the ones that are more easily available and cheaper. Forge World also offers a few variations of models. I'll dive into Forge World every now and again as they have some models not available elsewhere. So if an army requires multiple models of the same thing and Forge World has an alternative version, I might throw that one in to make the army look a little bit more interesting. Units will be taken at full strength unless otherwise stated. Most of the time the army lists don't refer to the number of individuals in a unit. In that case, I'll take the full amount allowable as set out in the unit datasheet. Battleforged rules are ignored. This video isn't about creating an army that would work well on the table. For that reason, we are going to ignore detachments and if the army would fit into them, ignoring points and power levels, and anything else specifically game related, other than the first rule, which is maxing out the unit as much as possible. Extra models and units can be taken. Occasionally, it might make sense to take extra models or a unit here or there. Generally, I'll try to stay away from that, but if it seems right, I will go through and throw some extras in. This could be a large part of the force requiring some kind of HQ unit, and you'll see that in this video. Ignoring start collecting boxes. This would most likely keep the price down for some armies, but it also means you get extra models you might not need or want. So we're going to stick to the individual models and unit boxes. Proxy models are allowed if an official model isn't available. Sometimes an army list refers to a model that isn't available. In that case, we'll try to pick one that would be suitable. This also goes for named characters. Most of the army lists are narratively based, so they have a different number of named characters. Most of the time these characters don't have official models, so we'll have to make do with what we can get. Rule 7 is some armies are a little bit light on what units are actually part of it. If that does happen, we can make some rational arguments for what should be included. For example, a Space Marine chapter company doesn't always provide a specific list of units, but a general type like battle line or support. So in that case, we would figure out what it would most likely be. Finally, prices will be shown in US dollars, UK pounds, and Australian dollars. These are the 3 major currencies used for Games Workshop products, so it makes sense to show all 3. But we'll generally be referring to Australian dollars for the most part. If you can't tell my accent, I'm Australian. But US prices and UK prices will be shown on screen at the same time. Luckily, the army in this video is fairly simple. I do take a few liberties here and there, mostly around taking extra models and using proxies, but it doesn't require too much bending or flat out breaking of the rules. So let's get into it. So we've got the organization chart for the Doom Court on screen now, and it is pretty straightforward. You have Bloodthirster Khulzhar at the top, then Ungarth the Undefeated, who is the Herald on Bloodthrone. Below that, you have 5 cohorts of Bloodletters, 2 cohorts of Flesh Hounds, and 1 cohort of Blood Crushers. This gives us a pretty bare bones outline of what we would need to buy. And luckily, the Codex also provides information as to what a cohort actually is and includes. And the text goes, at full strength, each Blood Legion is typically formed of 8 cohorts, and each cohort is composed of 8 packs of demons, and 8 being the magical number for Khorne. Then it goes on to say that others might be involved, but I'm ignoring that for now as there isn't any specific units mentioned. And I think keeping it at 8 cohorts of 8 units makes sense for Khorne. So with 8 units in each cohort, that's a total of 64 units, and it's already a big number and way bigger than any game you would want to play. But of course, we're not looking at this from a gameplay perspective. We're just going to see how much money we can burn through. So that's all the information we need to start working out our buy list. So let's start right at the top with Khulzhar. As Khulzhar is a Bloodthirster, we have a few different options for models. First up is the generic Games Workshop Bloodthirster. It's a pretty fine model and is very worthy of leading the Doom Court. There is also the other Bloodthirster from Forge World. At 370 Australian dollars, it's getting up to double the price of the plastic version. And I'll be honest, I don't like the look of it. The options there but I'm not even really going to consider that. We also have Scarband. This is a Bloodthirster and can be used to proxy Khulzhar, but for some reason it's more expensive in Australia, and I don't quite understand that, but you will notice that Australian prices get a little bit funky sometimes. So with this model, it makes sense to go with the generic Games Workshop Bloodthirster. It's the cheapest model in Australia and suits exactly what we need. So there is our first purchase, and my bank account is getting nervous. Ungarth the Undefeated is really quite a simple one to take. It's a single box of Bloodthrone, and it also includes a Herald. Easy, done, 55 Australian dollars. As this is the Blood Legion, of course we're going to take as many demons as we can. So we have to start with the first cohorts, which are the Bloodletters. When we look at the datasheet for Bloodletters, we can take up to 30 models in a unit. So that's what we're going to do. More demons equals more blood. So that means each box of Bloodletters has 10 models, so we'll need 3 boxes for a single pack of demons. And as each cohort requires 8 packs, that's a total of 24 boxes. And it's really looking bad for my bank account, and this is only the first of 8 cohorts. Now, there's 5 cohorts of Bloodletters in total. The Boarblades, Black Skulls, Alzarx's Slaughter Pack, the Horn ones, and Tsar's Red Fury. There's no distinction between each of the 5 cohorts, but we are going to treat them the same as each other. This means to cater for all 5 Bloodletter cohorts, we need 3 times 8 times 5 boxes. That's a total of 1,200 Bloodletters. Oh, and we've got the prices up on screen now. Yeah, 5 full cohorts is actually 120 boxes, works out to be 6,480 Australian dollars. This army is ridiculous. Now, I'm stepping away from how the Legion is described in the Codex and thinking about it from more of a lore perspective. I find it hard to believe that demons would all act as a coherent force without a leader. Likely not in an inspiring way, but in a act out and I'll whip you with my chains covered in fire way. There are a few options, but it's quite limited. Like, we could take a Skull Taker, but for this I think we more generic is in order. There's no name characters, so I don't want to start throwing those kind of models in if I don't have to. And that really only leaves us with taking a Demon Prince. Since they are trying to control 1,200 Bloodletters, I think it would be best if we throw in a Demon Prince for each cohort. There are a number of different ones that we can take. We have the stock standard Demon Prince. This is fine, but I feel like I want something a little bit more Khorne. On Forge World, we do have a Khorne Demon Prince and Herald. This is better, much more red and plenty of skulls. It is a Forge World model, but having one of these would look pretty cool. It also comes with a Herald, which is good if we need another HQ or command unit. I'm not going to do that in this list, but it is a possibility. We also have a named character called Mazarol the Butcher Demon Prince. This is another Forge World model, and while it's a named character, we can just use it as a generic Demon Prince. So let's take 1 Khorne Demon Prince and 1 Mazarol the Butcher from Forge World, and 3 standard plastic Demon Princes from Games Workshop. While it would be cheaper to only take Games Workshop Princes or none at all, the army is already looking very samey with 3,000 plus red demons, so some more models will break that up a bit. So with all that costing added up, it looks like that's 540 Australian dollars. Now for the Flesh Hounds, and just like the Bloodletter cohorts, we're going to take as many demons as we can. That means taking a full pack of 20 Flesh Hounds. Already that feels like a lot. Luckily there are only 2 cohorts this time, Hunters of Blood and Black Claws. Still, we know each cohort has 8 packs, so that's 160 models for each pack at a total of 320. Let's break that down into what we need to purchase. A single box contains 5 models, so for a pack of Flesh Hounds, we need 4 boxes. And for a full cohort, that's 32 boxes. So for both Hunters of Blood and Black Claws, we need to max out the credit card and buy 64. When thinking about a leader for the Flesh Hounds, I couldn't really come to any good conclusion if we could have one, or even if we needed one. The only option we really could have taken is Karanak, that could act as some kind of leader. However, I think in this case, we can let the Hounds run free. I think they'd be very difficult to control anyway, and good luck to anyone in the way of 320 bloodthirsty Flesh Hounds. So all the Flesh Hounds come to a total of 5,376 Australian dollars. It's a lot of money. So the last cohort we need is the Brass Thunder, which is a cohort of Blood Crushers. The datasheet says you can have a total of 1 Blood Hunter and 11 Blood Crushers in a pack, and it looks like a Blood Hunter is just a fancy name for one of the Crushers, so no need for an extra model just for that. As we have been doing, we're going to take as many demons as we can. So for each pack there will be 12 of these metal monstrosities, and since each cohort has 8 packs, that's a total of 96 individual models. A box of Blood Crusher comes with 6 models, so we only need 2 for each pack, and for the full cohort we will need 16 boxes to get us to the 96 models. Like the Flesh Hounds, we won't take some kind of leader. If there were a Blood Crusher character or model that I could take, I probably would. Since there's nothing in the rules for one, I'm not going to do that. They get off lightly and can go around doing whatever they want for now. So for this single cohort, it comes out at 2,720 Australian dollars. And that's all the models we need. So let's look at the prices and get a final total. But before we do, I will make a point that buying the start collecting boxes for Khorne Daemon would make a big change to the final amount. I haven't looked at the figures, but based on some quick maths, I don't see that this would work out to be cheaper, as the box composition doesn't help the army out, and at the same time you end up with a ton of models that you won't actually need. So, on to the final tally. First up, we have Khulzhar the Bloodthirster. We've decided to go with the generic Games Workshop one for 170 Australian dollars. Then we have Ungarth the Undefeated Herald on Bloodthrone, a single model there for $55. Then the full 5 Bloodletter cohorts, $6,480. Then 5 Demon Princes from various different types, that adds up to 540 Australian. The 2 Fleshhound cohorts adds up to 5,376 Australian, and then the final single Blood Crusher cohort is 2,720. And the grand total is, it's a big one, 15,381 Australian dollars, or 5,950k pounds, or 9,407 US dollars. But of course, this army is just ridiculous. No one would ever consider buying this. You could possibly do it in some kind of epic 40k setup, but even then, you don't need that much, it's ridiculous. So I haven't done any actual points or power level costs for this army. I am interested in doing it, but if you do want to see that, definitely leave a comment and like on this video and I will get on it. I'm interested to see the difference between this and the Apocalypse system, just to see what the variation is. And I'm also working on the 3 other armies in Codex Chaos Daemons, so you can expect that sometime soon. That means Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Sarnash demon goodness. So I hope you have enjoyed this strange exercise. I had a lot of fun doing it, and it just shows how far you can push your bank account to get an army that would never work. If you are keen for more, definitely leave me a comment and a like, and please definitely subscribe and hit that bell so as soon as some new videos come out, you will find them. So thank you for watching, and I will catch you later.